Rockets, it's Mrs. Wilkenbush back here with you with Galaxy Games The Challengers by Greg R. Fishbone. Okay, I'm going to try really hard not to butcher some of these names, but I'm just going to apologize right now that we'll do the best we can. And if you're following along, you're going to kind of figure out who I'm talking about. So bear with me, but here we go. So Chapter 4. Blatt Bluff, Nevada. On the evening after his birthday, Tyler's drag drove him up Mount Williamson to his star-searching birthday plus one-day party, along with 3 other boys, Braden McKay, John Moon, and Lucas Oliveras. Tyler had decided not to invite Eric Parker. Now that Tyler had turned 11, he no longer had anything in common with the mere 10-year-olds like Eric. This wasn't always called Mount Williamson, John told them as their car wound upward around the mountain. For thousands of years, my grandfather's people, the Shoshone, called it place where desert meets sky. And what did your other grandfather's people call it? Asked Tyler. John frowned. My other grandfather's last name is Williamson. What do you think? Well, we should give it a new name, said Braden. How about place where Tyler's father sees stars? How about place where pizza meets my stomach? Asked Lucas. I'm sticking with ancient Shoshone tradition, said John. You're the tiebreaker, Ty. What do you think we should call this place where the desert meets the sky? Tyler thought for a moment. Mount Tyler Sado is awesome, he decided. Dude, Braden's nostril flared with disapproval. You already have a star named after you. How many things named after you does a single person need? At the top of Mount Williamson, the minivan crunched to a stop on a pack of fresh fallen snow that had sparkled in the vehicle's headlights. The boys got out and traced the sweeping white band of the Milky Way that stretched from east to west, surrounded by the brightest field of stars that any of them had ever seen. John waved a hand as if to make a formal introduction. Desert, meet the sky. Sky, meet the desert. I'm sure you two will have a lot to talk about. I'm still thinking that Mount Tyler Sado is awesome could catch on, said Tyler. The only building on the summit was an observatory run by the Blatt Bluff Institute of Science, where Dr. Sado had tenure as a professor of astronomy and astrophysics. The observatory roof held one large dome and 2 smaller ones, each containing a huge telescope with a clear view of the stars. Tyler's dad gave the boys a tour. Tyler had seen the observatory before, but John, Lucas, and Braden asked a lot of questions. Tyler had to admit that his dad's work was pretty cool, which was probably why he spent so much time doing it. Tyler's dad called to his assistants. Victor, Joan, could you set up the big scope for us? Pranav, see what you can make of the coordinates on this certificate. A short man with dark hair and a scruffy beard stepped forward to accept the certificate. He looked at it and sighed. Professor Sado, I'm still a bit jet-lagged from the Quasar Symposium in Tenerife. Couldn't I have the night off? We brought pizza, Tyler's father offered, holding up a stack of pizza boxes. Oh, it's from Antonio's, Pranav grinned. Why didn't you say so? Grad students are 90% stomach, Tyler's father explained to the boys. Well, I could be a grad student, said Lucas, as he helped himself to a slice with mushrooms and peppers. The boys ate pizza while Tyler's dad made stars on one of the observatory computers. Soon Braden, Lucas, and John all had certificates that looked at least as good as Tyler's. Mine was supposed to be special, Tyler complained quietly to his father. We're not here to celebrate a worthless sheet of paper, kiddo. We're here to celebrate you and your birthday by printing out all of the worthless sheets of paper we can think of. After that, Tyler enjoyed himself more and more as he and his friends churned out certificates by the dozen. On a celebrated day, the following star shall be renamed Alpha Sweat Socks to honor the smell of our soccer coach, Mr. Bowis. From this celebrated date, the following star shall be renamed Obvious Toupee to honor the hairstyle of our principal, Mr. Johansson. Should we get one of those from Mr. Walter? From this celebrated date, the following star shall be renamed Puke Burger Miner to honor the menu in our school cafeteria. The boys were rolling with laughter when Pranav, the grad student, ran back downstairs. He waved a set of oversized pages like a flag. Professor Sato, take a look at this. Well, what have you got there? Asked Tyler's dad. Pranav spread the printouts across the floor because the table was still covered with pizza plates. Here are the prints from tonight, and they're from the same part of the sky taken last week. The object you asked us to find wasn't there a few days ago. Tyler and his friends crowded around. All the stars were in the same place in both printouts, except for one. The newer printout had a smaller spot marked Tai Sato under the triangle of three bright stars. But in the older printout, there was no Tai Sato. Of course, Tyler's star wouldn't have been around last week, Braden scoffed. Tyler only got his star certificate yesterday, so that star is only 1 day old. John whispered, All right, whose turn is it to play Let's Explain Stuff to Braden? Not me, said Lucas. I spent 20 minutes today listening to him complain that a grapefruit doesn't taste anything like a grape. Well, it doesn't, said Braden. Tyler was still studying the printouts. Stars don't usually pop out of nowhere like that, do they? New stars are constantly forming, Tyler's father told them. Just not overnight like we see them here. That's why it's safe to say this isn't a star at all. Victor, let's check the object against known comets, asteroids, and the other usual suspects. He scooped up the printouts and ran upstairs. Stay put, boys, he called over his shoulder. Your dad has the coolest job in the world, Lucas told Tyler. Yeah, I guess. Tyler took another slice of pizza and nibbled the edge. But he's missing my star-searching birthday plus 1 day party, just like he missed my other birthday party. Lucas typed up a certificate to rename the Andromeda Galaxy after his pet ferret. John typed up a certificate that said the moons of Jupiter belong to the Western Shoshone Nation. By the time the three astronomers came back downstairs, it was almost time for the boys to leave. Well, Dr. Sato, said Lucas, is Tyler's star an asteroid or a comet? Or maybe it's a blinking light star that turns on and off and on and off and on and off again, Braden exclaimed. In space, those are called pulsars, said Tyler's father. That's right, said Braden. Blinky, blinking pulsars. However, I am almost certain what we are looking at is a standard issue asteroid. We'll just need some help to calculate its trajectory. Well, help from who? Said John. Come on, I'll show you. Tyler's dad led the boys to a terminal where Joanne was typing on a computer keyboard. After Joanne enters our observation, we'll email them to the central archive called Minor Planet Center, so other astronomers can confirm the object and track it. As the Earth turns, Tai Sato will come into view in Hawaii. There's a telescope on Mount Halaliskila that was made for just this kind of a thing. A few hours later, astronomers in Asia will get a good view. There are major observatories in South Africa, then the Canary Islands, off the coast of South Africa will come online, followed by the major observatories in Chile. The west coast of South America has the same longitude as the east coast of North America, and soon after that, we'll be back at work here in Nevada. So people can watch my star 24 hours a day, Tyler exclaimed. More or less. There are telescopes up in orbit too, if we need them. By this time tomorrow, we should have a rough idea of how Tai Sato is moving, especially if we can find some additional sightings in any of the archived databases. Victor, go ahead and pull the Palomar Sky Survey. Let's see if this thing was around in the 1950s. Right away, Professor Sato, said Victor. I'm almost ready to send, said Joanne. All I need is a temporary designation. A what? The boys all asked. That's the name we give any objects we find, Joanne explained. It's just something to call the thing until it gets a permanent name. Oh, Pizza Party Victory Star, John suggested. What about Planet Zilla, said Lucas. Blinky, 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 blink, Braden insisted. Guys, said Tyler, it already has a name, Tai Sato. I even have a certificate to prove it. He held up his gold-framed star certificate, and none of his friends could argue with that. Joanne typed, Tai Sato. into the computer. Then she pressed a key to make the data available to observatories around the world. Middle solar system. 605 million miles from Earth, the pilot of the silver spaceship wished that his species had hair so that he could tear his out in frustration. The noise from the toilets had grown louder as the ship drew closer to the third innermost planet. The racket now sounded like 1,000 babbling voices blended with 1,000 off-key songs and 1,000 tentacles drawn across sheets of glass, all mashed together and flushed through 1,000 metal pipes. The door erased open, and Technishu Nagatu glided through on a jet of yellow-green slime. One of his tentacles held a box of tools. Technician, report. Still working on the problem, sir. Well, how long before you figure out a way to shield us from this horrible noise? Nagatu cleared his throat. Actually, sir, I'm not trying to shield us. I believe the signals are the means of communication. So I've been trying to patch our waste systems into the ship's signal filter and translation device. Pilot Arturville stared in horror. You mean the inhabitants of this system are trying to communicate with our toilets? The system's inhabitants, or perhaps the Dwogleys? Returvo's nostril nose hissed in steam. For the love of Freen, get it through that thick cartilage encasement of yours that Dwogleys are a myth. With all due respect, sir, I've seen things. Things you couldn't possibly imagine. Things that can only be explained by invisible creatures capable of speaking through our toilets. Well then, would you mind watching the controls for a minute? I need to deliver a strongly worded message. The Mandranian pilot slid into the bathroom, shut the door behind him, 65 hours before the most important event in human history. Oh, that was a lot easier chapter to read. I think this is going to be a good book, you guys. I'm really glad that you chose this and that I get to read it with you. So, until next time, I will be signing out from the Galaxy Games. This is Mrs. Wilgenbush, and you'll hear from me